We're Jenna and Jeremy, travelers, creators, and digital nomads.
We've made some crazy life choices that have led to some of the most fulfilling years of our lives, and we're thrilled to share it with you.
Follow our adventures as we explore more of this incredible planet Earth.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and you can also find us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Quench Your Adventure. Now on to the good stuff. Time to continue our 40-day Italy adventure after our 3 nights in Cinque Terre. If you missed that video, click right up here to check it out. On to the capital of Tuscany, which used to be the capital of Italy, Florence, or in Italian, Firenze, which is a great home base for exploring this region of Italy. Pisa Airport is the most popular for flights within Europe, while Rome, Milan, or Bologna are the most likely airports of arrival for US and Canadian travelers. Around 382,000 people live here in Florence, which makes it the 8th largest city in Italy, and that's just slightly larger in population than the US city of New Orleans. Italy has more UNESCO World Heritage Sites than any other country on the planet, with 59 selected areas. The historic center of Florence makes that list thanks to its art treasures, Renaissance history, cathedrals, and more. In 1339, it became the first city in Europe to pave its streets. In 1698, Bartolomeo Cristofori invented the piano. Florence's most iconic landmark is its cathedral, the Cattedrale di Santa Maria del Fiore, or the Cathedral of St. Mary of the Flower, also referred to as the Duomo. They began building in 1296, and a mere 140 years later it was completed, and at the time was the largest dome in the world. We stayed here for 5 nights, but we're also working, so for most people we'd recommend at least 3. We stayed about 23 minutes northwest of the cathedral, which we reached using the tram for 10 minutes and walking the remaining 13. We found our room through Airbnb, paid $428 for 5 nights, which rounds to $86 per night, and that's linked down below. Before we move on to our big day trip, here's a bit more from Florence. Ponte Vecchio, or the Old Bridge, was the only bridge across the Arno River in Florence until 1218. After the flood in 1345, the bridge was rebuilt, and it was the only bridge across the Arno that the fleeing Germans did not destroy during World War II. In November of 1966, there was another brutal flood the bridge miraculously withstood. There have always been shops on the bridge. Initially, these were butchers, fishmongers, and tanners. You can imagine there was quite a stench. Today, it's lined with jewelry and souvenir shops, and it's worth a visit.
Conto, l'hai pagata? C'ho la granella di cioccolato se vuoi.
Alright, Jeremy, what did you get?
A gelato shake. Carmino, I guess is the flavor, chocolate and hazelnut. It looks incredible.
Time for our 12-hour day trip booked through Get Your Guide, which cost about $60 per person. But astonishingly, it looks like the price nearly doubled since October 2022. We chose the option that does not include lunch at Chianti Winery, but it's now sitting at $114 per person. You'll find that link down below, but you can always shop for other tours, and Viator is another helpful site. About an hour south is our first stop, Siena, possibly Italy's most picturesque medieval city. I only had time for a brief drone flight, and the tight buildings made for unstable connection, but I did capture some views of the lovely terracotta roofs, surrounding greenery, and magnificent Gothic and Romanesque architecture of the main cathedral, which the tour includes entry to. Many revered artists, such as Donatello and Michelangelo, left their signatures here. The interior is stunning, with important details in every square inch. Construction began in 1226 and took about 175 years. Even the ceiling is a work of art. The floor is also a collection of masterpieces, marble panels with biblical and mythological stories. If history, art, architecture, and religion are your thing, you could easily base an entire trip around just studying this cathedral. By the way, we were here for maybe an hour and a half with about half guided and half free time. Next stop, San Gimignano. The hilltop town is a UNESCO World Heritage Site famous for the tower houses built in the Middle Ages. The towers were initially built for defense purposes, but also show power and wealth. The city's location atop a 300-meter hill is a huge reason for its success in the Middle Ages. It was a resting place for pilgrims and other travelers moving between Canterbury and Rome. The Black Plague of 1348 devastated the city of around 12,000 people at its peak. Many died and many fled. There actually used to be a total of 72 towers. Now there are 12. We had an hour and a half here to find some lunch and wander around visiting splendid squares, palaces, churches, and the magnificent towers. Have a very impressive line that I haven't even started at the back of. It's over there. Gelateria Dondoli, Gelato World Champion. The last stop on our Tuscan excursion is a visit to Pisa and its iconic Leaning Tower. You'll also see the Pisa Cathedral and Baptistry, and this area is yet another UNESCO World Heritage Site. Construction began in 1173, but just years later, the soft ground and flawed foundation quickly led to its 4-degree lean. The tower has 8 floors, including the bell chamber at the top, which houses 7 bells and stands 56 meters tall or around 184 feet tall. The tower has survived at least 4 strong earthquakes in its lifetime. About 1 million people visit annually, which is 2,739 people every day. Note that flying a drone in areas like this requires a permit. Back to Florence we go, and that concludes our day trip in Tuscany. What an awesome time. So many cool places to explore. We hope you liked the video. Please like it, leave a comment, and stay tuned for more travel videos.